The question, the member from Lambton-Kent-Middlesex.
Well, thank you very much, Speaker. My question this morning is to the Premier. Premier, as you know, Moody's Debt Service recently downgraded Ontario's debt outlook from stable to negative, which will surely lead to increased costs and more underfunding of important services for average, everyday people in our province. Premier, we recommend that you take urgent action today to come up with ways of growing our economy to ensure our healthcare and education systems are protected. And here's one that makes good sense to me. Premier Brad Wall of Saskatchewan has been advocating for a Canada-wide free trade zone. There is a tremendous potential to create good jobs for people and help small businesses grow here in the province. Premier, do you see anything wrong with the Canada Free Trade Zone as advocated by Premiers Wall, Clark and Hancock?
Thank you. Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Minister of Economic Development, Employment and Infrastructure.
Minister of Economic Development, Employment and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it actually is a very important issue and a question, and something Ontario has always taken a lead on. We have advocated across this country freer trade among provinces. In fact, Mr. Speaker, our exports are valued at over $122 billion as of 2012. 33% of Ontario's gross domestic product is made up of interprovincial trade accounts, so that's very important to us. We will continue to work with our sister provinces across this country to open up freer trade. Our priority is making sure we answer to the challenges our business community may have. When the Canada-European Trade Agreement comes in place, we want to make sure that no Canadian business is at a disadvantage. That's our first priority. We'll work with the other province to ensure we achieve that, and if we can move further, we certainly would like to.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Well, back to the Premier. Premier, last week Moody's put the province on a credit watch and revised the outlook in Ontario from stable to negative. At the same time, Premier, your counterparts from across the country are focused on providing more consumer choice, lower prices, more jobs, and ultimately increased revenue for their provincial treasuries. Of course, I'm referring to Premiers Brad Wall, Christy Clark, Dave Hancock, Stephen McNeil, and Robert Giz, who are all actively working on a Canada-wide free trade zone. Premier, this is about nation building, growing our economy, and giving opportunities to our small businesses along Main Street here in Ontario. Premier, why haven't you called Premier Brad Wall and others to get started on this deal immediately, and why isn't Ontario at the head of the table?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member is very far behind on this file. The ministers have been speaking for some time on this issue, Mr. Speaker. In fact, the ministers right across the country had a conference call earlier in the week. And what's important, Mr. Speaker, is we, as sister provinces, continue to work together. It's important that the views of all provinces, including Ontario, be taken into consideration in terms of how to move forward in these freer trade discussions amongst the provinces. We're all in favour of doing that, Mr. Speaker. We now need to work together to ensure we put in place the best process. Our Premier will, as she was with the Canada Jobs Grant and others, be a leader in this area of nation building across this country. We'll work closely with the Western provinces, the Eastern provinces, and Quebec.
Answer.
And Mr. Speaker, we're determined to ensure we do the best job we can for Canadian businesses.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Well, back to the Speaker. Premier, having negotiated over 40 international trade deals since coming into office, the federal government has done an outstanding job at opening trade barriers throughout the world. However, within Canada, there are a significant number of trade barriers in numerous sectors, including energy, labour, and procurement. These barriers are costing average, everyday people with reduced opportunities, fewer jobs, and higher consumer prices. Premier, the people of Ontario are counting on you to take the lead on important opportunities for our workers and small businesses. Premier, this is about Main Street, not Bay Street. Over the days ahead, what specific actions will you commit to with Ontario's participation in the job-creating Canada-wide free trade zone?
Thank you. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm really glad that the member brought up Stephen Harper today, because I think what we want to do is ask the member if he's going to support our efforts to ensure that the federal government treats Ontario fairly when it comes to equalization payments, treats Ontario fairly when it comes to investments in infrastructure, You know, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about, and my predecessor in infrastructure was very clear on this, we're spending 6 times more, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to investing in public transit than the federal government's spending. I don't think you can find a country anywhere in the world where that exists. I believe my predecessor said it's 26 times more that this province is spending on building roads and highways and bridges, Mr. Speaker. That is not good partnership when it comes to partnerships between the federal government and provincial government. So I'm hoping that the member opposite listens carefully to this and joins us in our efforts to make sure that Ontario gets fair treatment when it comes to our relations with the federal government.
Thank you.